Daily learning.
The weight of letters. My name is Elijah Hart, and I am the postman of Windermere, a little town that curls gently along the banks of the river Avon like a poem in cursive. From above, it might look like nothing more than a smudge of rooftops nestled between meadows and hills. But to me, it is a universe made of familiar doors, garden gates that creak in the same pitch every season, and windows that carry the smell of cinnamon in the winter and honeysuckle in the spring. Every morning, I wake to the soft chatter of finches just outside my window and the low hum of wind rustling through the trees that line our cobbled streets. Before the sun reaches the tiled roofs with its sleepy golden fingers, I am already at the small post office tucked beside Marigold Lane, sorting through letters, packages, and handwritten postcards that still make their way through this world like secret messengers from heart to heart. I've been a postman for 17 years now, and though the world has shifted in ways I can't always understand, digital letters, video calls, same-day delivery drones, I've stayed on my route, my boots still tracing the same worn paths through Windermere. There is something deeply satisfying about this ritual, something almost sacred in the act of delivering one person's words to another. What I love most about my job is not the routine, although that in itself carries a kind of peace, but the quiet importance of what I carry. A letter may not seem like much to the world at large, but within its folds may lie a father's forgiveness, a child's drawing for their grandmother, a love that dares not speak its name except in ink. Each envelope is a little vessel of hope, of memory, of news that might change the course of someone's day or life. I remember once, on a Monday morning just before the first snow, I delivered a letter to Mrs. Penrose, a widow who lived at the edge of town in a brick house with ivy crawling up the chimney like old scars. Her eyes were misted with the years when she opened the door, and her hands trembled as she took the pale blue envelope from mine. It was from her sister in Wales, whom she hadn't heard from in a decade. They'd had a falling out over something neither could quite recall, but time had mellowed the sharp edges of pride. That letter, filled with memories of their shared childhood and an invitation to spend Christmas together, was the kind of thing that could never be replaced by a phone call or text. When she thanked me, her voice was soft and cracked like a record from another age, but her eyes sparkled like winter stars. Moments like that remind me that I'm not just delivering mail. I'm carrying parts of people, their thoughts, confessions, apologies, declarations, and sometimes even their final words. Windermere is a town that breathes in rhythm with the seasons. In spring, lilacs bloom along the fences, and children chase butterflies with their fingers outstretched, laughter echoing between houses. Summer brings picnics near the river and long walks in the fading twilight. Autumn is a quilt of russet and amber leaves crunching beneath boots. And in winter, the world turns hushed and white, with chimney smoke drawing lazy spirals into the pale sky. Each season brings a different rhythm to my route, but I find beauty in them all. In spring, people send postcards to loved ones they'll soon visit. In summer, packages arrive with birthday gifts wrapped in bright paper. Autumn is filled with letters from students writing home, while winter brings the avalanche of holiday cards, some still scented faintly with pine or cinnamon oil. I walk miles every day, and while my legs may ache by evening, there is a satisfaction that settles in my bones like a good story told aloud. I know every crack in the pavement of Willow Street, every dog that barks at number 12 on Linden Avenue, and every soul who meets me with a nod, a wave, or a brief chat over a gate. There are those who say the job of a postman is disappearing, that technology will render us obsolete, but I don't believe that entirely. There's something deeply human about the tangible weight of a letter in your hands, the way you can trace the handwriting of someone you love, or smell the faint perfume that still lingers from their envelope. No screen can offer that kind of intimacy. Sometimes I help more than just with mail. Mrs. Ellison, who runs the little antique shop near the station, once locked herself out on a rainy day, and I waited with her until the locksmith arrived. I fetched groceries for Mr. Harold when he broke his leg in winter, and once, I helped deliver a baby goat when the midwife was late, though that's a story best told over a pint at the Stag's Crown, our local pub. I never planned to become a postman. I studied literature in my youth and thought I'd spend my life among books, perhaps writing one of my own. But then my father fell ill, and I returned home to care for him. Windermere called me back like an old friend, and somewhere between the long walks and the familiar smiles, I found a kind of contentment that no city ever offered me. The post office needed someone reliable, and I needed something steady to hold on to. One day turned into 17 years, and here I am, still carrying the words of others, still listening to the stories people share at their doorsteps. Every so often, I find myself in awe of the quiet trust people place in me. They hand over pieces of their lives without question, trusting I'll carry them safely through rain and snow. It humbles me, this role I play, invisible to most yet deeply embedded in the lives of many. There are days when the sky feels heavy and the wind bites through my coat, but even then, I find solace in the quiet repetition of my work. I tuck letters into mailboxes, ring doorbells, wave to children walking to school, and pause sometimes to admire the way the sunlight filters through the old trees that arch over Elm Street like guardians. Some days, I find anonymous notes in the mailboxes I service. Tiny poems, acts of kindness, sometimes even jokes. I don't know who leaves them, but I like to imagine it's someone who understands the magic of words, the way they can brighten even the coldest morning. There's one mailbox, painted red and shaped like a little barn, at the corner of Orchard Hill, where a boy named Theo leaves me drawings every Friday. Sometimes it's a dinosaur riding a bicycle, other times it's a whale with glasses reading a book. He signs each one with a crooked smiley face and the words, "For Mr. Postman." I've kept them all, tucked in a drawer by my bed, each one a reminder that even the smallest gestures can make someone's day feel lighter. At the end of each day, I return home with tired feet, but a heart that feels full. My house is modest, a white cottage with blue shutters and a garden overrun by wildflowers. But it is mine, and it is quiet, and it holds the echoes of every letter I've ever carried. Sometimes, when the wind is just right, I stand on my porch and listen to the town breathe. The laughter of children, the distant clink of dishes from the cafe, the soft hush of leaves, and I feel deeply, wonderfully grateful. Not everyone gets to be part of something so intimately human, even if it's just by delivering the words that tie people together. In a world that moves too fast, where everything is measured in clicks and swipes, I am still walking, still knocking on doors, still watching the seasons turn through the eyes of those I serve. And that, I believe, is more than enough.